thank you to everybody who's posted a question on the community tab. What I'll be doing is in the description below, I'll list the questions and the times they are on the video if you want to just skip to the question that you set, and if you want to listen to all the questions, then fine, just keep listening away. This is a great one: gear changing on the driving test. Now lots of things can happen on the driving test with gears, so I'll try and do it into different sections. First one is move off in first gear. If you move off in the wrong gear, you're probably going to stall, so you're going to get a stalling fault, which could come under moving off, could come under gears. Depends on the situation with the examiner. And also when you're moving off, if it's clear, lots of learners, they'll move off in first gear and they'll get distracted by what's happening in front of them and they'll hold back on the gear change. So you're going to get a gear fault because the car's screaming for a gear change at that point. Or you could be in second gear or third gear doing exactly the same. You're holding back on the gears. And a prime example of holding back on the gears is you're on a 60-mile-an-hour road and you can use fifth gear. You're doing, at that point, probably about 55 miles an hour, maybe, I'm guessing. And the car's asking for fifth gear. It says it on the dashboard, you know, the indicator saying go up gear, some of them. And you're holding back in fourth gear. So you're going to get a gear fault for not using the gears properly. Or another one would be you're actually slowing down for a junction or a roundabout and you're in a higher gear, and you drop to a lower gear, lift the clutch off, but you're going too fast and the car's bouncing around really rapidly, gear fault. I have had instances in the past where someone's went from fifth gear and tried to go into third, but they've gone right across into first, lifted the clutch off, and the examiner stepped in because it was going to knacker something at that point because they're going too fast for the gear, and they got a serious or dangerous for gears at that point because you're trying to go in first gear too fast. So the car would slow down rapidly, causing someone behind to slow down rapidly. So I think the examiner stepped in at that point. So that could be serious. And one other situation would be using third gear or fourth gear on a 30-mile-an-hour road. Now, I always say a lot depends on the car. A lot depends on the size of the engine. Now, the Honda Jazz that I drive is a 1.4. Now, if we're driving around in the 30-mile-an-hour road, it's clear, and you're doing about 28, 29, maybe 30 mile an hour maximum, third gear is probably going to be okay. You know, you don't want to use fourth gear, because if you pop it in fourth gear, it might say on the computer, go up gear, because you're not pressing the gas so much. It's just cruising along. But if you pop it in fourth gear, it's going to push it over 30 mile an hour, so you're going to get done for speed at that point. So use your gears wisely, get used to when you should be using them, and at the same time, don't be afraid to override what it says on the computer if you think you know the answer to it. And if you don't, ask the guy next to you or the woman next to you. This question is about this person's got a fear of driving on hills, and she's still learning, and it could be the fact that hill starts is the problem for her. She wasn't too specific, or it could be driving in a hill on slow traffic. So all I would say would be practice more. If it's to the point where it's affecting you a lot, then I would personally take time out of the lesson with the instructor and just say to them, well, let's go and find a quiet hill and let's practice stop start, and get used to what you should be doing with the clutch and the accelerator pedal, what should be right on it. Because if you're worrying about the biggest worry people do is worry about the car behind them, either they're going to roll into them or they're going to bib the horn at them because you don't feel as though you're fast enough, then I would actually practice on a hill. And if it's too much pressure, practice on a flat. Get good at your pedals, because if you can get good at your pedals, your confidence will grow, because you're not going to worry about your pedals, because there'll come a point where you won't think about your pedals, but at the moment when you're learning, it's like, I'm going to pull off, right, okay, and I need to get my gas on, get my biting point, look round, don't stall. That's what you're thinking. Okay, so practice in a quiet area, take 15-20 minutes at the beginning of the lesson. That's what I would do. How to set the steering wheel and how to set the seats so that you feel comfortable. It's a tricky one, because a lot would depend on each person. Obviously different lengths of legs and so on, but the way I do it is the feet are first, so move the seat forward so you can reach the pedals. That's the important thing. If your feet are cramped, you're going to struggle to control the pedals. And so get your feet in a position where you're quite happy putting your foot on the clutch and lifting it off. And once you've got your feet in place, then adjust the backrest so that you feel comfortable, because you don't want to be lying down. But saying that, some people different angles suits different people. And then try the steering wheel at that point. See if you can reach the steering wheel quite easy with your hands without stretching your arms completely. It's got a little bit. It's got to be a little bend in your arms. So you can actually come off the steering wheel and actually control the knobs on the dashboard by turning them on and off and adjusting the volumes on them and so on. And with different steering wheels, some are just up and down, some are towards and further away, depends on the steering wheel. There's a setting underneath them usually, so do try it when you're stationary. I don't advise anyone to try it when they're moving, because they're going to have an accident. So try that when you're stationary, to adjust the steering wheel, whether it be towards you, further away, up or down. Depends on the car, mate. Depends on what type they have. And remember, if you adjust it up and down before you drive off, make sure you can actually steer. You're not going to bang your legs on the steering wheel or your hands on the legs, so on. Okay. Want to know tips for driving on long drives so you don't get bored or tired? Now, most long drives will be on motorways, sometimes long carriageways. Stamina is quite a big issue, but what you got to say to yourself is, if you've been having driving lessons and you've been in the car for a couple of hours, then the stamina's kind of there already. You just got to tweak it. So what you got to say is, if you're getting bored when you're driving along, because you're driving along and you feel like I'm getting bored, well, next time get some music on, or bring your favourite music and plug it in, or stick a CD in, whatever floats you really. So CD player, favourite pop band, stick it on, favourite group, or use your iPod, plug it in, or your iPhone, plug it in, because there's all these connections now on the phone, on the car, you can plug them into, and have some music on. Or bring a friend along next to you who was going to talk to you, and that'll just carry the conversation, because you'd be surprised. Put a bit of music on, driving along, chatting away, laughing while you're driving. Before you know it, you're there. That'll sort it out straight away. And the other thing is, if you feel like you're getting tired and you're doing a 2-hour journey, then plan a stop in the middle. You know, get out of the car for 15 minutes and have a bit of a break, you know, so that you can stretch your legs and get some fresh air. That's what tends to work. That's what they say on the motorways. You see them big signs saying, take a break, kind of thing. Tiredness kills, and it does, because what'll happen is you'll drop off. Okay, so good luck, and remember, plan some things in there. Bring a little bottle of water along, bring some music along, bring a friend along who's not gonna sit there for 2 hours doing nothing, who's gonna chat to you. This is quite an interesting one. It's one of the things where, when you're doing dual carriageways and you move on to motorways, people ask the question, you're driving along in the left lane, so you're already on the carriageway, whether it be a motorway or dual carriageway, it doesn't matter, and you've got a slip road coming on, acceleration lane, and up to that point you've been talked about, you're on the left lane, you're on the carriageway, you've got the right of way, the car coming on from the side road has got a give way point, so they've got to filter in. All right, that's how it's supposed to happen. All right, in reality, you'll check your mirrors. If it's lots of cars coming on, you might pull into the right lane, help them out, and then as you go past them, you pull back into the left lane. That's helping them out. It's making it easier, making it safer. So what you're doing there is being proactive. You're anticipating the hazard of the car coming on, and saying to yourself, I just need to kind of understand that if I don't do something, there's a risk. There's lots of cars want to get on there. And then you carry it to the next stage further, which is, well, there's lots of cars coming on, but I've looked in my mirror, there's lots of cars on the right, so what am I going to do? I can't pull out. It's my right of way. They're going to hit me because I can see them. They're all not slowing down. They all want to get on. So just check your mirror, check your rear view mirror, lift off the gas a little bit, and let a gap develop with the car in front of you. Big enough so that car can get on. Right? Because the thing is, if it's about 3 or 4 cars who want to get on, they're all not going to try and get in that gap of yours. They're going to say that first car is going to get the gap. They're going to look for the car behind you then for doing something similar. So don't feel like you've got to let all 4 get on. So don't. Just remember, just put a gap for one car, and then the other cars are going to try and they'll start slowing down and look for the ones behind you, because no one's going to try and get 2 or 3 cars in that gap. You know, they've got to be nuts. Okay? They've said, how would you park after your driving test if you've got no designated parking space? Now, 2 things here. Driving test, if we talk about the driving test and after you passed, right? So if you're driving into the test centre where on your driving test at the end and there's no spaces left, don't be surprised if the examiner steps in and says to you, just park over there where it's quiet. Right? They're not going to expect you to suddenly just park, squeeze into a gap that doesn't there. So that's one thing that I've always heard them step in and say something like, oh, you're coming to the car park, it's probably going to be busy, so I'm just going to tell you where to park, or if it's not busy, they'll say, oh, just park in any of them that are empty over there, or just pull up on the left there. So that's what they tend to do at the end of the driving test. If you're talking about how would you park up after your test where you live, and there's no designated area, so you've got an house, or you're renting a flat or renting a house, and there's no parking spaces outside your house, where'd you park? Well, what I would do then is I would look at what all your neighbours are doing. Just watch what your neighbour, which car they drive and where they park, because you can guarantee someone's parking somewhere. So if it's WL lines outside your house, then look where they're parking. Have a walk around the corner. Just see what parks at night time, because at night time that's why you want to look for the spaces. And it might be it's a free for all. So basically, what happens then is whoever gets there parks there. It's not like it's my space because I live there. If it's a designated space, that's their space. But if it's a parking on the main road or on the side road, then it's like a free-for-all at that point. Whoever gets there first parks up. On your driving test, you're going to get asked a show me question where you've got to show them what to do. Now, I remember when they first introduced this a couple of years ago, I went to a meeting, and one of the representatives of the DVSA said, if they can't answer that question and they're not trying to answer it, we're going to pull them over, tell them what to do, and then drive and ask them to do it then. And if they get it wrong, they get a fault. Right, now, I've never seen that happen, to be honest. I've sat in a few tests since they changed it, and I've never seen the examiner pull them over. They've just asked them to do it. If they haven't done it, they've given them a fault. Now, don't think that that's going to be it. Right, because you need to know these things. I'll do a good example there. If you're driving along the road and it's a bit of rain, and the examiner says to you, can you just show me how to clean the front window using the window wipers and washers? And you're struggling to do it, and you don't know how to do it. And they'll give you a fault because you do it wrong. Now, when you're driving along and it starts raining and you still can't do it, they're going to step in and tell you what to do at that point, and you're going to get a serious, because you can't control the car, you can't control the controls. And there was one example about 5 or 6 years ago, and it wasn't one of my students, but this examiner got out of the car, and he said, he's shaking his head, he says to me, do you know what, I've had to fail a lad then. So I said, why, what's happened? He said, great driver, but half an hour away from the test, it started raining, and the front windscreen started steaming up. So I can't say anything straight away because I've got to give the guy a chance to spot it and deal with it. And this is what you've got to remember, is that if things change in your car, you've got to sort it out. So if the windows start steaming up, you've got to demist them. That's why you've been practicing with your instructor. So going back to the story then, the examiner's waiting, and the wind is starting to get steamed up, and it's going narrower and narrower to the point where about 4 or 5 inches from the side of the windows steamed up. And he's had to say to the young lad, your windows are steaming up. And the lad says, oh yeah, and done nothing. So after a few more seconds, the examiner says, I'm going to demist the windows for you. So he stepped in and demisted them. And the test, he failed him for it because he couldn't control. He says, if I didn't do it, the windows would have steamed up and you wouldn't be able to see. So know the show me questions, because you might not necessarily fail for getting it wrong, but it can cause you to do things wrong on the test if you don't know them. Or you're waiting for your test to come through, it's months away. What can you do? Watch videos, a bit like what you're doing now. Keep yourself in tip-top condition, because if you've been having, say, 10, 20, 30 hours of lessons, or you're not far from your driving test and you can't take your test because of something's happened, either they've been on lockdown or you've had an accident and you broke your leg and you can't drive for another 12 weeks. So do things that are going to be helping you. So get the highway code out, read road signs so you don't forget them, read up about junctions, sit down and watch my playlist on learning to drive on junctions and roundabouts and everything that you think you want to keep your topped up on. Watch it. So check out the playlist. I'm plugging my channel now, see. Check out the playlist, check out any videos that are going to help you to keep yourself in top condition, so that when lessons resume, you're not thinking, oh, I forgot what to do here. It's in your mind, it's fresh. I get asked off lots of people about car insurance, and they say to me, how do I get my insurance down? How do I get cheap insurance? Now, there's different types of insurance. You've got fully comprehensive, third-party fire and theft, and I think there's a few others, name drivers and so on. You've got black boxes in there. All these things can bring insurance down. Think of it like it's a game for you, right? When you go to a car boot sale, this is an example here. I like to kind of do comparisons. When you go to a car boot sale and you see something you like, so just say you see a car radio at a car boot sale, and you think, oh, I'll have that for my car, and you ask him, oh, it's 20 quid, they say, 20 quid. So, I like it, I'll give you 10. No, I want 15. So you're haggling, aren't you? You're haggling. So you're haggling for something that you want. So when you contact your insurance company, or for the first time you contact the insurance companies, they're going to ask you lots of questions. Where you live, how long you've been driving, how old you are, what size engine it is, because that's quite an important one. The bigger the engine, the bigger the insurance. Is it parked outside your house? Is it on the driveway? Is it on the road, and so on? These are all the things and that they're going to take into account. Now, when you've answered all them questions, and they've said to you, right, it's going to cost you, let's just say, £2,000. That's just an example. £2,000 it's going to cost you to insure. Okay then, well, I'll have to speak to my dad, or I'll come back to you. They'll give you a reference number then. Here's a reference number, just quote this reference number, and they'll bring it up because they've saved it on the computer. It'll last for about maybe a week, 2 weeks or longer, or a month sometimes. And then go to the next guy, next company, all right? And there's loads of them out there. You know, you've got the Money Compare supermarkets, you've got Young Marmalade do it, you've got Admiral do it, all the big companies will do insurance for new drivers. So all you got to do is go on Google and just say to them, right, okay, driver insurance young driver, or driver insurance new driver, and see what comes up, and just go to the next one then and just say to them, right, okay, I've got a quote for car insurance. They say, and one of the things they say is, have you had a quote before? Oh yeah. And what was it? Tell them it was £2,000. So straight away they're going to try and beat £2,000, because it's in their interest to have your money. So they'll get all the information off you, and they'll say 1,800 quid we can do it for. Okay then, well, you happy with that? Well, yeah, I just got to contact me dad and get back to you. I have a reference number, and then go to another one, get 3. Okay, the next one comes along, same sort of thing. What have we quote for? 1,800 quid. All right, we'll do it for 1,700 quid. Excellent. And then go back to the first one and see if they can beat that. So you're kind of haggling. Okay. Now, or there's other ones where speak to your friend who's had his insurance and ask him what he got. And if you got a deal, then speak to them and get that reference number. Go to the next one. Same thing. Haggle, because it's your money. If you can save some money, fantastic. Now, I mentioned the size of the engine. It does make a difference. The bigger the engine, the bigger the insurance. And also the mileage. If you're going to be doing not a lot of miles, then it's going to be cheaper to insure. And also the black box reduces it sometimes. So there's all little things that crop up that'll help your insurance. I think when you get to 21, it reduces a little bit. When you get to 25, it reduces a bit more at the same time. And like I say, haggle, and don't be afraid to say, I like it, but I've just got to ring round or speak to my dad or my mum. Okay, so remember, it's your money. They want it. Try and save some money. So thoughts on aircon. I says, what they want to know. What do I think about aircon? Well, it's great. You know, especially when it's like now, it's 30 degrees outside and that's cool. So it's good. The thing about aircon, it'll dry your eyes out a little bit. All right? There's no point in having aircon if you've got your windows open, because it's just going to let warm air in. And remember that I think every few years it'll need regassing, because it'll eventually lose its ability to keep producing cold air for you. And also, when you've got aircon on, it will use more fuel in your car. So that's another thing to think about. So you've got to weigh these things up. So in summer, probably use it a lot. In winter, probably won't use it much. But when you do turn it on, if it's not been on for a while, have your windows open so it gets out all the dust out of the vents at the same time. Okay. So it's about, would you fail your driving test if you went to go past a parked car on the left, go round it, so you go into the right to go round it, and you didn't check your centre mirror or right mirror? Would you fail? That's the question that they asked me. Now, I would thought that straight away you're going to get a fault, because you're not checking what's going on, you change the direction. So it's going to be a mirror fault. They call it change of direction on the sheet of the driving test. So if you're not checking your right mirror and you're going round something, you're going to get a side mirror fault. And if you keep doing that, it's going to reoccur and it'll eventually become a serious. So you can do it 2 or 3 times and you get a serious. Now, if you don't check your right mirror and you pull out and there's someone about to overtake you, the examiner's going to step in and it's going to be dangerous straight away. You're going to fail your test. So check your rear view mirror, see what's happening behind you. Check your right mirror in advance before you pull out, and you know what's going on then, and it'll save the embarrassment of the examiner putting the foot on the brake. But if you do it and there's no one around, you will get a fault, and it'll keep happening. It'll be a recurring fault and become a serious. Tips on roundabouts here. They understand roundabouts. They understand what lane they should be in. They understand who they should give way to, and they understand how it works. But they can't seem to get everything in on the roundabout, which is checking your mirrors, signalling, changing lanes, watching out for traffic. So my advice would be, don't go so fast on the roundabout. You know, because your thought process is probably not as quick as someone who's been driving for about 5 or 10 years. So you have to think about it a bit more. So what you do is you plan it. So a great thing to do would be commentate on your driving, because you'll listen to yourself telling yourself what to do. Right? So try it on a quiet roundabout to start with. So an example here, you come to a roundabout to turn right, checking my mirrors, signalling, slowing down, it's clear, slowing down for the gear change, still clear, I'm entering, good speed, nothing too fast, I'm going round, there's your first exit, there's your second, mirrors, signalling to come off, coming off. Commentate, it'll help you to kind of fit things in. And if you can't commentate quick enough, you're going too fast probably to do it. If you liked it, like I say, if you like all them ones and you think I enjoy listening to them questions and answers, then fine, fantastic. Watch out for the video coming out next week, and feel free to leave comments and keep checking that community tab, because I keep putting little polls up there for people to answer, gives me ideas on videos at the same time. Take care, safe driving, and if you've got your test coming up, good luck.